Two dads in a chair, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads in a chair, just talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads in a chair, talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioning, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads in a chance, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads in a chance, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides some rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads in a chance is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
Here to start the second half, we're going to talk about our upcoming opponent, and I am going to give it to the Porcelain Prince himself, Aaron Mayhew. Take it away, brother.
Jazzy, thank you so much. Gentlemen, let's get out right in front of it first and foremost. This will easily be the greatest test and team that we have faced all year. You go back and look at our schedule, Detroit, perhaps, Kansas City, okay. But I feel like our schedule didn't exactly prepare us for what we are about to walk into, which is the Lions' Den, gentlemen. San Francisco, number 1 seed. They didn't just get there by accident, okay? But I would like to start this segment by just kind of breaking down how their season progressed start to finish. Real quick here. We're going to open up in week 1 against the Raiders. No, that's not right. That's preseason. Here we are. Week 1, Steelers. They crushed them 30-7. Week 2, 30-23 against the Rams. Week 3, 30-12 against the Giants. Week 4, 35-16 against the Cardinals. Again, just crushing their division. We know that they weren't like the top tier this year by any means. Rams came on late, but Arizona Cardinals, these not formidable foes, right? We get into week 5, which is where they destroy the Cowboys, very similar to what we just did, 42-10. Okay, this team is 5-0. They're on cloud 9. Everybody's just like touting, oh my God, this is the team. They then, in week 6, lose to the Browns. And that's when everybody's like, oh shit, maybe the Browns are something. I don't know. 19-17. That's kind of weird. Next week, they lose to the Vikings, 22-17. Now, they did still have who was tooting that horn the other day with the gold chain?
The Vikings.
Cousins.
Thank you, Ty. We move on to the next week. They lose to the Bengals 31-17. So after starting 5-0, they lose 3 in a row against competition that is not exactly top tier at this juncture. They recoup next week, crushing the Jaguars 34-3. Nobody gives a shit. Beat the Buccaneers 27-14 in week 11. Beat the Seahawks the next week. Beat the Eagles 42-19 in week 13. And that's when everybody's like, oh my God, the 49ers have landed. They're dominant in the NFC. We all know where the Eagles are at this point, gentlemen. Barely just like a corpse stumbling into the playoffs just to get fucking swept out. They come back next week and they crush the Seahawks, again, division foe. They play the Eagles again and beat them 42-19. My God, stomping on those poor folks.
It wasn't a fluke.
It feels. Following week, they play the Seahawks. They win again. And then they play the Cardinals 45-29. But it is not until week 16 when everybody is really hyped up. All right, boys. Ravens, 49ers, NFC best versus AFC best. What are we going to see? And for those who didn't watch, it was the Ravens more or less curb stomping the 49ers on the road 33-19. And that was like an absolute gut check.
I bet they got pressure on old Purdy, didn't they? They must have.
Must have. Yep. They followed up then with two. Sorry, they beat the Commanders, Washington. No one gives a shit, and then they lose to the Rams more or less on purpose. Final game of the year because they kind of had the number 1 seed wrapped up. Okay, Tyson, hands up. What do you got?
Did Purdy play that last game? I don't think he did. Right? That was when that started by their backup.
That is correct. Not by any stats I have in front of me, but I just feel like you're probably right.
So that means that guy hasn't played football in almost 3 weeks.
Sounds cold to me.
Keep that in mind. Continue. 7th round pick.
Wait, what?
Is it here? Yeah, we'll continue on. I'd like to dive into the coaching a little bit here because it's a kind of an interesting situation that ties between the two teams we have currently. I'm going to start off on defense, though. Steve Wilkes is their defensive coordinator. This gentleman, first-year defensive coordinator, previously with Carolina last year. This is his first year coaching, being an actual defensive coordinator. Loves to run, dude, a scheme that I actually looked up here that I haven't. They call it the Stonewall Pass Coverage Unit, which is known for being a Stonewall Pass Coverage
So
unit.
interesting because that's exactly what I call my penis.
It actually has a picture of that too here, Chaz. We should look into that.
That's his penis? Oh,
Whoa,
God.
whoa! Don't pull that up! Don't pull that up! Don't pull that up!
Jerry's
No,
face.
don't pull that up!
Hold on. I'm not sure if it's the defense or your penis, but it says they are dominating in every facet. They don't give up any explosive plays with regularity.
Yep.
And
And what
excel
about their
at putting
defense?
opponents behind the 8 ball by creating negative
Bonus
plays.
behind the 8 ball.
Yep. It all sounds right to me, boys.
Right. Sorry, I'm trying to paint a picture here of this
Trying to get
fucking
that
team.
bonus.
Okay.
So was I.
Yep. All right. So they love to play zone nearly 65% of the time, and they primarily stay in nickel formation. Look,
Wow.
gentlemen, they can basically rush 4 on a regular basis and get home and drop back and just force you into very difficult situations. And they've been doing this for like years, honestly. Nothing's changed much. Tyson?
Do they get now? How do they do on interceptions? They aren't good at interceptions, right?
We're going to tackle that a little bit later. I'll build up. They do occasionally jump into 6 rushers, and that's basically like when they want to go for the fucking kill shot. All of a sudden, it's on you, and you have to be able to react. Jordan Love, I hope you're listening. Those are the moments, man, where we're going to need you to shine, make quick decisions. But across the board, just a very disciplined front 7. These guys know what they're supposed to do. They don't play outside of like their responsibilities, and they just fucking bring it play after play, where an offensive line needs to be so goddamn focused and the communication needs to be so tight that we will truly be tested on Saturday, gentlemen. Now, let's shift it over to the head coach / offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan. Look, for me, I want to hate him, but I also am willing to acknowledge that he might be perhaps the most brilliant offensive mind of our generation, with it, at least within like the past like 8 to 10 years. Comes from a long, like his father, yeah, you know what I mean? But we talk about a guy that has not only performed well on multiple teams, but everybody that's been underneath him has like gone on to like illustrious careers or changed the game in some capacity, including our coach. So the argument can be made that he's special is my point here. And how do we gauge that? Well, PFF, again, it's just one area of how we judge teams, but PFF considers them the number 1 rated offense and also the number 2 rated defense. And what I like about PFF, it's not all about fucking stats and sacks and this and that. It's about understanding pressures. It's about understanding situational football and who does it the most efficient way possible. That is this team across the board. Not touting it. I'm saying like we are walking into a very, very complex, well-organized team that is preparing for us the exact same way that we're preparing for them. Quick couple things here. While I do tout how incredible this guy is, he has an overall record of 32-40 throughout his career. That's because he basically came into San Francisco when they were absolute dog shit. They were like 2-14, I want to say. Brought in Jimmy Garoppolo. That was kind of like their thing. And
I think
from
it's
then
pronounced
on,
Garoppolo.
And from then on, basically just continued to like succeed. But the other thing about Shanahan, for me personally, I'm kind of building up this, is he has an interesting resume of failure, like in the finest of fashions, right? So 2022 NFC Championship game, they did lose Brock Purdy. I wasn't sure if it was like before the game, during the game, but they basically lost a heartbreaker where they could have went to the Super Bowl, okay? 2019, they lost the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and anybody watching that game, me personally saw Garoppolo miss basically like a touchdown throw to basically seal the game with like a few minutes left. Great play call, wide open receiver, just couldn't quite make the play. Again, coach, I remember seeing his eyes on the sidelines just being like, what else can I do? What else can I do? But boys, the crippling one that we all remember is in 2017. He was offensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, where they lost to the Patriots by being up by, God damn it, T-Bone. How many points were they up by at halftime? It was staggering.
28-3. Best comeback I've ever fucking seen in my life. 28-3. Only person in that building that knew they were still going to win was Tommy Brady, and he convinced the whole goddamn world in one half of football. Unbelievable.
Really was. Really was.
It was the moment I went from hating Tom Brady to being like, oh my God, he actually is the best. That's incredible.
GOAT!
But they blew it. They also fucking blew it, man. They fucking blew it. And he was the coach. So
it was
that's
situational moments where they were, man, they had very good success running the ball. And then late in the game, he tried to throw and like had a couple of 3 and outs at like the worst possible times. Tyson, go ahead.
Yeah. I just was curious, how many Super Bowls does he have? Because I'm just curious, because like he's been considered one of the best head coaches. Everyone's always saying he's the genius of the league, and all these other guys that worked under him have gotten Super Bowls. And like, how many rings does he have?
Oh, I got to count it up here. Yeah, 0. It's a big. It's a big.
Seriously?
0. Yeah. So raising the question, gentlemen, do you think this man is cursed slightly?
I think he's a fucking Wizard of Oz, is what I think. You get back there, you realize just some old guy working a horn inside that body. No, I'm kidding.
Wait. What did you just say?
I know.
Hang on. Record scratch. Wait a minute.
There's a tiny old man inside Kyle Shanahan. There's a wild accusation, but I'm gonna stick with it.
I love it.
Gentlemen. Look,
I love it.
I appreciate what you're saying, Tyson. I think measuring any team by Super Bowls is like the most outlandish metric you could ever fucking imagine. You know what I mean? But here we are. Yeah, we should. Anyway, let's dive into who we need to focus on both sides of the ball come Saturday. Let's start off with the offense, okay? Chaz, this gentleman, there's no doubt in my mind that he's not going to be joining Anders Carlson on the yacht this weekend, probably at some point. His name is Brock Purdy. His name is Brock Purdy. Come on. There's no way this guy didn't play lacrosse at Duke. And there's no way that he's not on a yacht with Anders Carlson this weekend.
He did.
For anybody not paying attention, this man was the 2022 draft Mr. Irrelevant, which means he was the last goddamn player drafted, okay, as a QB. Just kind of came in. They're like, we'll kind of fingers crossed, hope for the best. He is now their starting quarterback, and he is playing at an incredible high level. There was early season talk of MVP, honestly, if you look at some of the stat lines before a little bit of a drop-off. He has also been called a game manager, and that's something that I think this entire pod has talked about a little bit, and I think that's a silly title, honestly. There are people that have maybe not the best arm strength, maybe aren't going to be carry a team on their back, but any NFL quarterback in this league that can run an offense in the style that he does, with motion before the snap, understanding where, blitz pickups, all the stuff we've talked about.
Timing. Yeah.
Is like, man, you're still a star. Is he surrounded by a lot of talent? 100%. Do I think he's a little bit of a douchebag? No doubt. But the man still belongs in the conversation.
That is every single person on this podcast. Hello.
No, guys, if there's anyone in the league that could have a Brady-like story, I think it could be him, because he's enjoyed up to this point being counted out and us rooting for the last guy. It's curious to see how it's changed now that they are the front runner all year. If finally some pressure will get to this fucking male nurse energy motherfucker. He still definitely has male nurse energy. He feels like he could do some nice bedside manner.
So you're saying he's got a really strong back?
I'm just saying that, like, he just seems like the kind of guy that, like, just stays after you're like, all right, we'll see you later. And he just, like, nods his head and holds the clipboard a couple more seconds. He's like, all right, Doctor will be in to see you in a minute. Okay. That's all I think. Go ahead. Enough about Brock Purdy.
He's testing the knees out. He's giving you the old.
Yeah, that's his thing. Also, PFF's highest graded quarterback with play action across the entire league. Play action passes, he just basically eats up fucking everybody. Something we need to pay attention to. And it's shocking too, the similarity of just overall stats to Jordan Love, whether it's touchdowns, interceptions, yards. It was like staggering how close these guys were at come the end of the year. You know what I mean? Brock was doing it early. Jordan was doing it late. But we need to pay attention. Moving on to the beast that really needs to be recognized is Christian McCaffrey, y'all.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't even know where to begin and where to end, but when healthy, which has actually been pretty spotty throughout his career, he is one of the most dominant running backs I've ever actually witnessed play the game of football. This year, he had 1,459 yards and 14 touchdowns rushing, as well as 67 receptions for 564 more yards and 7 touchdowns receiving. Absolute game wrecker that you have to know where he is at all times. But even more importantly, and Tyson, you talked about this earlier, is tackles, man. This guy dominates on missed tackles. You're not just going to like kind of grab him and take him down. He's a fucking monster.
They also happen to run like the perfect run scheme for our defense. Unfortunately, the style of running they have is designed to just eat up the kind of safe cover two or safe, deep shell 2 safety thing that the whole league is running. And that guy is how many? Do you know how many yards he has for the year? It's 15 something, right?
1,459.
That's a lot of fucking yards for a guy who missed a lot of games. He missed what, like 4 or 5 games? That's insane. That's like a 2,000 yard rusher, and he does it dirty. So I'm impressed deeply with their run game. And they've also broken our fucking back running the ball. Like that's the memory we all have, is we can't stop these guys and they just run and run and run and run. So sorry, Megan, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Also, the positionlessness of McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, and some of those other receivers, is that it's hard to nail down what position they are, because they seem to all rotate whatever is needed for the play. So it's a lethal offense for sure, and Christian McCaffrey's a big part of that.
We talking Green Bay Packers football.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Energy. For those times when you need a little bit of buzz and a little bit of booze, we got you covered. Introducing 2 new flavors. We have Tropical Extravaganza. That's right, wine with pineapple, banana, chocolate, and graham cracker, all mixed together at once. Horrible, you say? Absolutely. Also grape. We've introduced grape, because wine's made from grapes, and that's the secondary flavor. Anyway, Energine when it's time.
We talking Green Bay Packers football.
All right, after that, we dive into the wide receivers a little bit here. Brandon Ayuk is a name that you are going to become familiar with come Saturday. I became quickly familiar with him because of fantasy football. Motherfucker crushed it for me this year. He's got 75 catches for 1,342 yards, 7 total touchdowns. He's an incredible athlete with size, but I think what separates him a little bit is his ability to make people miss. I'm talking highlight reels of just shaking guys and embarrassing them on the field. He will be heavily involved on Saturday. You continue on with a name that we all know, it's household, Deebo Samuel. Okay? Deebo. We get it. This guy, for me, is a thicker, larger Jaden Reed. Okay? Like almost like a gadget player, a guy that they'll run. I mean, they'll run end arounds with this guy. they will basically put him in positions to just basically get the ball in his hands and see what he can do constantly. Motherfucker had 60 catches for 892 yards and 7 touchdowns, as well as 37 carries for 225 and 5 touchdowns. Point being is, like, again, you need to know where this guy is on the field at all times, and he does not go down at first contact, boys. We need to get physical on Saturday. We need to actually pretend like we want to fucking tackle people. Let's continue on because it only gets worse. George Kittle. You all know that name. Look, if you saw this guy in a McDonald's parking lot, your first instinct would be, this guy knows where to get some good meth. Okay. Don't read a book by its cover, because what you soon find out is that he is perhaps the most elite tight end in the entire league. And I'm talking the most well-rounded, catching the ball. And when he blocks, he wants to fucking murder you. He cares about that aspect of the game. 65 catches for over 1,000 yards, pretty big for a tight end in the league these days. 6 touchdowns on top of that. And again, just one of the most tenacious blockers at his position that I've ever seen. Healthy for the first time. I don't know if he's actually played a full season before this year. That's been his Achilles heel. But again, they're all ready to roll. They're all ready to roll. And then I throw in Trent Williams here. That would be their left tackle, who for a very long time was considered probably the best left tackle in the league. And while he is, like, I don't know, fucking 35, 36, Tyson, he's still getting it done on both sides, right?
Oh my God, he's unbelievable. He's the prototypical standard. And I mean, the way that I talked about that from the Cowboys guy last week, but really this guy's better. Trent Williams is a mauler who you can't beat to the ball. So, like, he's the real deal, man. He'll fuck you up.
Yeah, pass block, run block, and he was like the one guy, like David Bakhtiari got like that crazy contract. He's like the best left tackle in the league. And I feel like 2 days later, they're like, we're giving Trent Williams like $100 more. And we're like, God damn it. All right.
It's way better, though, to be fair.
Yep. But, gentlemen, underlying theme here is that we almost have to pick our poison with San Francisco. They are very similar to us, where it's like, what are you going to do? You cannot control all these different aspects. But for me, if I'm Joe Barry, it has to start with like the run defense against McCaffrey. If we don't slow that down, everything will quickly fucking fall apart, and we will likely collapse. We'll lose, time of possession, all those things that we can dive into a little bit more. I'm going to shift over to the defensive side of the ball. God, they're spending a lot of money across the board here. Nick Bosa coming in at number 1 here is a guy that you're going to see a lot of. White boy out of Ohio State, just a sack machine and a constant agitation on either side. 34 solo tackles, 10.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Stats don't necessarily blow you away, but I guarantee you will see him stand out on Saturday. And then just to add a little bit more talent on that side of the ball, they were able to take Chase Young. He was drafted number 2 overall in 2020 by Washington Redskins, traded over after week 6 to shore up the other side of the ball, 7.5 sacks. We're talking about a guy that was like, did he win a Heisman? He was in like the Heisman vote. Hasn't panned out.
Monster, dude. He's a fucking monster. You look at him and you're like, that is a star of the entire defense. It's not fair that him and Bosa are on the same team. That's nuts. That's their 2 ends. That's fucking crazy town.
Doesn't make sense financially, Tyson. I don't know.
It doesn't. No, I'd love to go over these contracts because this team is not.
We're getting there.
We'll get there, but damn, dude, there's a lot of stars on this team.
I know. Let's continue on with these stars. Middle linebacker, my favorite in the entire league, Fred Warner. Okay. This guy drafted out of BYU, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, has absolutely elevated himself to stardom. 132 total tackles, 2.5 sacks, 4 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles. This guy is just basically everywhere on the field, putting everybody in the right positions, fucking ball hawk, speed, tenacity. This guy is like the driving force and what I really want Quay Walker to eventually be at some point, if possible. It's a high benchmark to place. But moving over to cornerback, Travarius Ward, incredibly physical, sticky cornerback, has 5 interceptions on the year already. And then if we're moving into the defensive line, Another name for me is Javon Hargrave. This cat came over from Philly. I was a huge fan of him when he was there. They plucked him out in free agency and already has 7 total sacks on the year for them. Gentlemen, these are just a few names that I've thrown out there. There's still plenty of talent. And I think one other thing to kind of note here is that I don't know if I've seen a better understanding or collaboration between coach and GM like I see in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan.
John Lynch.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Ty. Every time it just seems like the moves they're making, they're 100% like cohesive. They know who they want. They know what they're doing. And even when they make mistakes, motherfuckers traded up to get Trey Lance. Okay.
Yeah.
Brought this quarterback in. He was just not fitting the bill. They kind of traded him away for like pennies on the dollar, moved on to Brock Purdy, and nobody even like talks about it. You know what I mean?
I'd love to talk about it. That's a fucking shitty move for them. They just burn first round picks like they don't mean anything, and then they're also out of money at the same time. Like there's some error of their ways. As much as we want to crown these guys kings of the world, where's the fucking rings, guys? Shouldn't they have with all these dominant pieces? What kind of bad luck do they keep falling on? And it seems like every year it's some kind of unfortunate injury or some other football gods don't see them fit to finish. You know, the Dan Reeves teams of the 90s that were just destined to not finish with a ring. I don't know. It's hard for me to. I respect and scare. I'm respectfully afraid of this team. They are really good. They are clearly the front runners, and they have been saying it is their team all year. You look on paper, you look on film, I don't care. You look on the fucking side of a wall. It's easy to say, yeah, 49ers are a better team. I saw everybody. There was 16 picks up, and every one of them took the 49ers. Every single one of them that I saw on this list. And I'm like, wow, how about that? That's ridiculous. But I think there are a couple of important flaws in this dynasty without riches. The problem is that they don't have a sustainable model. They've done all these fancy, cool moves, traded away a bunch of first-round picks for other stuff, gathered first-round picks to trade down to get Trey Lance, just to trade him away. All these things they've done have been like financial moves. Going to the Redskins and being like, I'm going to give you as much money as you can handle. We want to get Trent Williams when he just wouldn't play. They go and get this running back that is a Christian McCaffrey, who's like a game changer. How the fuck do you let that guy go? Well, they're willing to give up the farm and do whatever it takes to get to these guys. So they are a top-heavy, really nice top, but a top-heavy team. And you know how you get a team like that? You got to pay them. Can we talk about their contracts for a second? Because they're crazy. All right. Trent Williams counting $31 million against the cap. Deebo Samuel, $28 million against the cap. Eric Armstead counting $28 million against the cap. They pulled him out of retirement. Fred Warner, $24 million against the cap. George Kittle, $21 million. Charvarius Ward, $18 million. Hargraves, you were just talking about, he's at $16 million. You got Nick Bosa at 14, Christian McCaffrey at 14, Brandon Ayuk at 14, Dre Greenlaw at 10. Like, this is a lot of fucking money, dude. Those guys, that's a ton of money.
What's that smell?
Look at our team. It's all David Bakhtiari and a bunch of scrubs, you know, like we're paying him $40 million. Everyone's shitting their pants. But look at the next thing. Like, we don't pay money like that. The reason they can pull this off is because of their quarterback. Their quarterback situation. They were happy to trade away Trey Lance, not only because he wasn't getting it done, but because they needed the cash, man. You know how much money they have right now? $427,000 under the cap. Not even $1 million. This team is strapped. They had to unload Trey Lance because they needed the money. Like, that's where they're at right now. They're broke because they have it all wrapped up in this team. They got Juszczyk, which everybody loves. They run a fullback and they actually use him. But this guy's contract next year, it goes up a lot. By the way, all those numbers go up substantially next year. There is no way. Oh, yeah, and that 7th round Mr. Irrelevant quarterback, he's making $1 million a year. That lasts one more offseason. Now we get to next year. He's going to demand a huge contract. And for them to keep him, they're going to need to do it based on his performance, especially if he does well in the playoffs. This team is going to get broken up. This is their one shot to get this squad and use all of its talent when everybody's healthy. If there's ever a year for them to do it, it's right now, right? This is the same advantage we had over the Dallas Cowboys. They have the soul-crushing obligation of Kyle Shanahan's failures of the past and all these other things. And now we end up in this position where we're coming in just happy to be there, ready to just play a game of ball. And they have all these people that need this to go the same way. And Eric Armstead's not supposed to realize that next year he's making way too much money. They're definitely going to cut him. And we're supposed to just ignore the fact that fullback that everybody loves and is a hometown hero they're not going to pay him $12 million next year. And like everyone's going to have to restructure. A lot of them aren't going to make it. That's a lot of pressure on a personal humans that play on this team. I just wonder, with all their success, having their concern last year, Brock Purdy gets hurt at the end of the year. They don't want him to get hurt again, so they aren't playing in the last game. So that's 3 weeks, a second-year, 7th-round quarterback didn't play, and we're expecting him to just like win the Super Bowl. I just feel like we can. There's some vulnerability to their confidence, their break that they took in between, and the fact that their quarterback has not won a big game. He's just gotten to them and then was like, my arm hurts. I can't do it. Kind of quit. I don't know where you guys are at, but I've looked into this team and I found that there's one weak point, and that is that we still, with all the shit that's happened, have the capacity to come into this game, play loose, have success by doing so. They have a ton of pressure to make this work. Ty, where you at on this?
Picks? No, 49ers. Yeah, no, they're the proven best team front runner. And the only way we're going to beat them is it's going to have to be a repeat of Dallas. We're going to have to come out both sides of the ball. It's going to have to be a full team effort, and we're going to have to outcoach them. LaFleur's done a good job against top coaches this year. Faced off against Reed, just showed Mike McCarthy who's who. This one, I don't know. I just feel like the history shows Shanahan has the upper hand on this one.
Of course.
And it's got to be time for the student to become the master. But he's going to have to be all in on it, and it's going to have to be everything he's got. Because this team, this 49ers team, it's hard to see a soft spot. The weaknesses come from weeks they were heavily injured. Man, I think there is a chance for the Packers, but we're going to have to just be lights out.
Yeah, totally. I think we're definitely walking into certain death, and that's the way the rest of the world looks at it. And to me, I feel like that is the only spot this team can really be themselves, is as a complete counted out underdog that are just out here just trying to win a game. I think there's also something that Caitlin hit on earlier in the show. There was some oversight, likely due to financial reasons. They had the best kicker in the league. Gould, fucking money, right? They couldn't afford him anymore. So they draft some fucking chump, and that's the guy they got. He missed some kicks the last couple games. Caitlin found out he's a serial murderer. You'll find out about it later. But really, if it comes down to kicking, I don't think they got an edge on us there. You know, if you want to match it up, you know, I think our running game's pretty fucking good. You want to talk about our wide receiving squad? I mean, I'll fucking take it. As much as they got 2 stars, what else? You know, they got a good tight end. We got 2. We got 2 good tight ends. You know what I mean? Fuck these guys is what I'm saying. Fuck these 49ers. I want to fucking beat them. Do you guys believe that we can beat this team? Let's get real. You guys believe that we can beat this team, or are we just walking into a fucking funeral right now?
Look, Tyson, here's my take, okay? Over the years that we've at least experienced having home field advantage and the time off to rest, you know, I've often questioned like what advantage that is. You know what I mean? Home field advantage is huge, right? And if you can just dominate, sure. But there is something to be said about momentum. And if anybody has momentum right now, it is this team going into a warmer climate where nobody expects us to win whatsoever. No one's given us a shot. I mean, man, it's cliche, but this stuff builds in the locker room. You know what I mean? And it like you get tighter and tighter and you go out there. And I think that what I saw last week offensively, if this is what our team can do now, okay, we're going to put up fucking points all day long on you. I don't care what defense you're running. And San Francisco, look, they probably know us better than any other team in the NFL. They run the same like offensive system to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Okay. They got playmakers. We ran through all of that. But man, when it comes to execution, and I think that we are going to be okay on that side of the ball. My biggest worry is defensively, man. And same time, I think we are playing the best defensive ball we have all year long. And I'm done. Joe Barry, I'm done dogging you for the rest of this year at least. Like, or no, actually for the rest of this week.
One more game.
I need you to motivate this defense. I need you to call the best goddamn game of your career. Just keep us in it. Tyson, you know what it is? If we are neck and neck with this team come fourth quarter, look the fuck out. We get blown out early. Okay. Just not our year. We're close. We got a lot of work to do, but that's where it is for me. If we can hang on early and play what I think is our brand of football, man, I feel pretty good about it, if I'm being totally honest.
That's great. I love what you're saying because I do too. And I'll be honest, I'm done being scared of this team. I've done it too much. It's gotten me nowhere. You know, I respect them. I understand who they are, and they certainly understand who we are. But they don't fear us. I'm not going to fucking fear these guys anymore. I'm done with it. I feel like Matt is done with it. I feel like this is Rodgers' drama from before, his West Coast fucking drama that he didn't deal with. And at this point, this is a different team. They've never played this team. And this team is just developed into who they've been the last 2 weeks. If that's the same team that shows up, you're right, Mayhew. Our offense can score on this team. And our offense can punch first and keep pummeling. That's what I learned last week. They had this capacity to step on your throat from an offensive perspective and choke you out, which is something I didn't see in Rodgers last couple of years, to be honest. He didn't have that killer instinct. He just wanted to protect the lead. That's not what I saw out of this team. This team wants to fucking break your neck, and I love that. I love what I'm seeing recently about this team. And the lack of nerves. Man, guys, I don't know. I'm starting to believe, and I think that America, you need to consider believing too, because this is the biggest game of the year. Is an understatement. This might be the biggest game of the Packers' next 5 years. This says a lot about who we are, where we are. Dallas doesn't mean shit. Ultimately, the 49ers are the litmus test. Everyone agrees they're it. If we beat them, what does that say about us? Yeah, it's hard to dismiss that at that point. So at this point, I think it's time to start figuring out, do you guys know what you need to do to believe yourselves?
You guys mind if I step in with some fun facts?
Fun facts.
The one thing San Francisco defense lacks in the most is actually the zone run scheme that we run. Okay. They rank 31st in the entire league on the zone run, which only points to Aaron Jones. You have a big day. opens things up, makes things a little bit easier for the rest of the crew. Fun fact number 2. If we're going to PFF for the bottom 5 offensive players of this last week, Royce Newman somehow pops into number 1 again, boys. That's right. If you guys didn't know that, Royce Newman took the field. He did. And it literally says Newman played only 3 snaps, but he whiffed on a run block, period. 37.5, Royce. Well done. Welcome back to the fucking field. Chaz, that's been Fun Stats.
And we appreciate fun facts. Fun facts.
I love it. No, guys, I think it's time to start talking about what it's going to take to win this game. I mean, really.
Yeah, what's it going to take?
I think that the Packers are taking care of business. I think that they're at their house, getting everything dialed in. And I think that we need to do the same. So I just wanted to give a quick rundown on your role as a fan. As this thing builds, you got to let it come organically. You can't do too much too fast. You can't do nothing. You can't do new things. You got to slowly build off of the foundation that was the regular season. Now, I want you to think about, let's go to wardrobe, okay? Let's talk about the last 2 weeks. What have we been wearing for the game? You know, has it been something completely different, something completely the same? I went out, I got myself a little something, playoff socks.
Oh,
you get yourself some freshies, guys. It's a very small wardrobe change. It can go a long way. First of all, you feel great wearing a fresh pair of socks, especially when they got the green and gold all over them. But that's a small change. You got to think about, like, what's been working for hats throughout the year? What's been working for shirts? Where did I get the shirt? Do I want to add one fresh piece of gear for a game? And I think that's appropriate. I think it's crazy to bust out the retro. This had this, and this is the past. I feel like the luckiest gear is the freshest gear, and the playoffs are worth a purchase. So if you have not yet purchased yourself a piece of 2023 Green Bay Packers gear, go to a local place that has the legit shit and grab yourself something. I don't care what it is. One piece, and it is going to do great things for our chances to win. Let's talk about food, right? Talking food right now.
talking food.
Now, for me, I've had a real positive run here in the sausage department. Now, there's nothing more Wisconsin.
And I've said that about you for years.
Yeah, real good run in the sausage department. Now there's nothing wrong with bratwurst, and I'm going to keep going with those, but you got to diversify your sausage here. I've been adding a little bit of, now I've been doing a smoke system, and I feel like that's really what the sausage wants anyway, indirect heat. So I've been doing sausages, like a heavy applewood smoke, around the outside, the coals in the middle, Weber style, and it melts the snow on the top. It's good juju. But you got to get, I got some sweet Italian sausage. I got some kielbasa, and I got some bratwurst. And for the kiddos, a couple hot dogs, you know. But really, diversify your smoked sausage, and you will find new parts of the team are responding, you know. Of course, we know about cheese up on D at this point. It's almost, I feel like, falling on deaf ears. So I don't want to sit here and describe again how you need to actively be chewing cheese during the defensive play and not eating cheese on offense. However,
but he will right now.
There is some other things we want to add as we sprinkle in a little bit here, a little bit there. We're going into a really big game, guys. I'm going to ask you to do some offensive stuff this week as well as defensive, right? We got to do cheese on defense. That doesn't change. Okay. Sharp cheddar, no bullshit. All right. This is no time for anything but cheddar, and you save it for second down or later, and get the team together. But we also got these hands. I don't know if you notice these hands, these fingers around the hands. Something I learned at a little football game where the Green Bay Packers quarterback got more yards than he's ever had in his life, and his name was Matt Flynn. He actually owns the record against the Detroit Lions, right there at Lambeau Field. 480 yards in a game. It's no
Oh man, I forgot about that.
There's no coincidence that I was there that game. It's no coincidence because I discovered the power of a Sparkle Fingers. Now, when on offense and you are in a position, the ball is snapped. Sparkle Fingers in the play. Get your syrup out, maple syrup, put it on the table. You're going to need that where you're serving food or at least near your television so that the hands make the grabs. You get the Sparkle Fingers, those balls are going to get there. Sparkle Fingers.
Pancake hands.
I didn't know I discovered it, but I discovered it at the Brett Favre game with his dad in Oakland when his dad died. Because someone was doing it there. And I remembered it at the Matt Flynn game. Now I taught this to my son. And I
Which one?
Samuel. And this is back when we played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A little story time here. And he took it real serious. He was only about 5 at the time. And he's sparkling really hard, and we're losing the game, and things didn't work out. And he's crying. He's like, "Why did I lose the game? I used the Sparkle Fingers." And I walked away from it. However, I feel like it's a different time, different team. And I believe in the Sparkle Fingers. And I believe that if we collectively do that, guys, our offense might just have just a couple more amazing balls, a couple giant plays you didn't expect. And when that ball's in the air and you feel like it's a must-have, third down, save it, start there. Sparkle Finger, maybe one hand, maybe two.
I say, figure it out, one or two. You know what I mean? Feel it out.
You feel it out, but let's get active. Is there anything else you can do? Maybe you're not in the Green Bay, Wisconsin area code. What do you do when I say go gather with like-minded Packers friends? Find your tribe, collect your energy, and create the laser of success. Chaz, what do you do when you say you're stuck in El Paso, Texas, like yourself?
Well, if you're stuck in El Paso, Texas, they don't have TVs. But if you're stuck in San Antonio, like myself, what you want to do first and foremost, God damn it, is you want to get on to PackersEverywhere.com. This is a real thing. So this is the most recent one that is going to be in San Francisco. This is a website that lets you know worldwide, not just in the United States, but worldwide, where you can see games. And especially if you're in a major city supporting the Packers, they have places that you can meet up. They will let you know who's actually going to show up. They actually get members of the Packers staff to show up. Normally, these are not like ticket-based. Obviously, for this one, because it's such a large game, I think it's a $5 buy-in for it. But they also provide everything as far as Twitter handles, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere you can stream a Packer game or are following a Packer game, you want to at least be following. If you're not following 2D and a C, you want to do Packers Everywhere, where you can find any local bar or tavern or restaurant that will be taken over. It will help you be with like-minded people so that you don't have to go into the Lion's Den, wherever that is in your local large city. So everybody check that out.
I love that. I got being proactive. I feel like gives you anxiety is a result of lack of preparation. Good energy, high energy,
and mental illness.
Yeah, but butterflies before a big moment. That just means you're alive, baby. That's a good thing. Don't let your feelings fool you. Prepare yourself so you know you control what you can control, and you can be a part of this success if we have it. And if it doesn't happen, it's not on you, baby. We did the best we could. This team is playing with house money, and at this point, what do we got to lose? Go out there and fucking play our best and do what we can from our side. No stress, no mess. Go fucking Pack.
Yeah.
And now, Skip Bayless fighting with a trash can.
Watch how he can't figure out how to use his own trash can.
I love this part. It's the best part. Well, shaky and alcoholic. Can't even work his own trash can.
Yep, there we go. Here's another one. Look at that.
Uh-oh.
And lid shut. For those of you that can't see, this is Skip Bayless, by the way. Oh. It gets me every time.
You gotta move faster, Skip. You gotta move faster than that. This guy's getting owned at whack-a-mole. He has no chance.
The funny thing is, like, his wife is like, you haven't figured out how to throw things away yet, you idiot.
Most expensive trash can on the market.
You're just gonna put garbage in
Cat whip.
Yeah, and he's had like a week-long temper tantrum too. I just can't believe these fans of them. It's pathetic.
Oh, buddy.
It's pathetic.
Yeah. We talking Green Bay Packers football.
I would like to add one last perspective, and that is for those out there that do not have the perfect Packer watching conditions like I have had multiple times this year. Okay, maybe you got a fucking kid's birthday party planned that you didn't want to go to at all. Maybe your fucking something or other gets COVID. You can't do this. You can't go there. All of a sudden, your favorite cheddar sold out at the goddamn supermarket, and you know what I mean? It's not always about the perfect circumstance. It's about and Chaz, when your dad came on, dude, that was like one of my favorite lines. It's like, it's about positivity, man. It's about believing and just working with what you got to create. And I think that's what all three of us are talking about here right now. And everybody out there listening, that's what we need on Saturday. It's like, you do it your own way, okay? With the best, best circumstances that you have. And I know that if we all tie together, I think we're going to come out on the other side victorious.
God, if we do, it will be so fucking sweet.
Lose my shit. Yeah, I know, right?
This is the run I've always wanted, and it is just really exciting to have this hope. This hope is what the Bears don't have. This hope is what franchises that have to sell everything they for the next 20 years to just get a chance to get to the playoffs don't have. We organically built this, guys. This is home brewed gold. And I just feel like we can do this. It's going to take all of us, but we can do it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It just like it struck what I've been wanting to say to you guys for like a long time. I feel like we started this podcast last year, right? And I honestly thought we cursed it, like in a certain degree. You know what I mean? 100%. Looking back now, I think all we did was exorcise the demons, Chaz.
Oh, I love it.
You know what I mean? And now this year, it's been building into this culmination of like the most magical end of a season ever, right? And I think it's because of 2D and a C. Tell me I'm wrong, listeners. Tell me I'm wrong. Continue with us on this journey, right? This train ain't stopping. San Francisco? No. This ain't it. In my heart, I feel like this ain't it.
I've known a lot of teams over the years. I've never known a team more intimately than this team. I feel like I'm connected to this team, and I feel like I've grown through understanding them more than they've reached any expectations or not reached any expectations I've set out. Like it is really a pleasure and an honor to have been a Packers fan through this transition and to enjoy the success that we've had thus far. And I can't imagine this party's over. Let's talk about maybe predictions. Do you guys I think we were ready to throw out
yeah, let's talk predictions. I'll go first, Jazzy. I'll go first. All right. I'm keeping the same score as last week. Okay, I'm going 33-31. And Chaz, I'm telling you again, Anders is going to win us this game. Okay, at some point, it's going to come down to that last second field goal. And I think he's got it. He cannot kick a goddamn extra point to save his life, but a field goal from like 50, 60, 70, I don't know. Money.
So that's who's scoring first?
No, Anders Carlson is not scoring first.
Okay.
Maybe.
Who do you got first score, man?
First score will be Jaden Reed.
Like it.
Gotcha.
Hands down. I look at him and Dontavian Wicks as far as who lines up, or I think their skill set against this defense. Zone busters, if you want to call them, whatever it is. Good route runners, know where to find the open areas. That's going to be where it's at. And then, Chazzy, I need Rashawn Gary, man. Big Dick Day. This guy is like, he's been doing good things. Don't get me wrong, but I just want like a game where like he stands out, like really stands out, So that's my hope.
Got you. Reed, Big Dick Day, Gary.
T-Bone, where you at?
Oh man. I believe that we have this team in a couple departments. And overall, I like our wide receiving squad as a unit more than their superstars that they have. But our tight ends, we got, as much as Kittle's amazing, I'll take our two guys over that one guy. And what we can do against that nickel that they're going to be running against that, they're going to they have an impossible decision with a 6'8" tight end who can run. What are you going to do? Who are you going to put on him? Linebacker won't work. Like there's just a lot of ways that they have to readjust how they're going to run that scheme with us having two tight ends that are legitimate threats. That being said, they can both be decoys, because who I think this game is going to come down to is someone that we have been longing for all year to have a big game, and that's Christian Watson. I think Christian Watson's going to go out there and make a huge difference in this game. I think we're going to hit some deep. I think we're going to hit some in the middle. I think he's going to get his end around. I think his burners are going to be back. I think he's going to run this secondary out, something that they haven't experienced yet. And then everyone else on this team that's been doing well is going to come back around. Sorry. First score of the game. Christian Watson. Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Christian Watson. Okay. Final score of the game. This is going to be a fucking shootout for the ages. Okay. 45-47. Packers win it because they miss two essential kicks and we miss just one, baby. And I think you're right. I think it's going to come down to our kicker. Maybe not that's how we'll win. Maybe it'll be like we manage that lead. But in the end, their oversight due to financial reasons on kicking out that kicker is going to kick them in the ass. It's going to be the one piece of bad luck they didn't think over while they built the super team. And it's going to be that they just didn't consider anyone could run with them. And Purdy cannot throw when he's running backwards. He is a forward throwing quarterback. He has incredible mechanics. He's what I wish Jordan Love was doing earlier in the year when I was asking for that footwork. Purdy's that. But he can't run backwards and throw fucking fadeaway lasers down the field like old Jordan Love did last week. I know that. I've seen this guy play. He's good at completing throws, but things have to line up right. So I agree. Scary Gary needs to come back in a big way. We need to get fucking pressure on this nurse and knock him on his ass. Yeah, I'd like a cup of ice. Thank you very much. That sounds nice. Nice.
Yep. So male nurse take is so good.
It was good.
That's sticking. That is sticking. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Jones is probably gonna have the first touchdown, just statistically with the numbers. But Big Dick Day is gonna go to Anders Carlson because either he's
you're coming full circle now, bro.
I'm saying he's either going and now Big Dick Day is in like he's either going to have a Big Dick Day because he misses the final kick or the kick I need, or he makes the kick that I need, whether that's a 3-pointer, a 1-pointer. We'll see what happens.
Hey, I think it's pretty clear if we win this game at all, it's going to be Jordan Love who had the Big Dick Day. He's going to be the star. He is the one edge we have over them. I do believe our quarterback has the capacity to play at a higher level than this A student. they got over there. I just don't. I just think our guy is got some magic. Their guy's accurate. Our guy's special. So, I hope we win. It'd be fucking amazing.
It would be nice.
In the meantime, can we just say fuck the goddamn 49ers? Because I hate this team. I don't fear them, but I fucking hate them. I hate most red teams. Let's just get that out of the way. I don't like red jerseys. I never have. I don't even like red birds. I don't like a lot of red stuff. Okay, the Badgers is the problem for me.
I hate Cardinals. This
I don't
guy
like
hates
the red
Cardinals.
Outfit. I'm not buying that fucking shirt. I'm not gonna wear red. It's dumb. All right, you look like a fool. You know, you look homeless. Okay, I'm not wearing red. So fuck that team. Fuck any red team. Fuck the fucking fair weather 49ers fans that come out of the fucking woodwork every time this team's good, every 4 years. And Ben, this one's going to you. Fuck your fucking 49ers. You guys want to get a hashtag on this? Let's do this, huh?
Born ready, baby.
To go?
Born on green light.
Want to hit on
ready when you are.
Fuck these fucking 49ers.
I say fuck San Fran.
Fuck!
I was going to say hashtag fuck San Fran, but yeah. A 3, a 2, a 1, a hashtag.
Fuck the motherfucking 40 fucking Niners. Fuck!
Fuck them good.
We'll have to do some preliminary evaluations, but I think your brother will fit in nicely here. Over here! 351! 351! Rover, sit! Hut, hut! He seems to have some difficulty letting go of the game. Has he had a long history of mental illness?
As long as I've known him.
And down the hallway here, we have another...
Perfect.
Dude, it still holds up in spectacular fashion.
It's great. It's great.
Two dads in a jazz, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads in a jazz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads in a jazz, talking Green Bay Packers football.
We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Most of gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air condition, cause it's bound to get hot.
Two dads in a jazz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads in a jazz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides them rings and putting trophies on the wall.
Trophies, y'all.
Two dads in a jazz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.